A conspiracy theorist is defined as someone who is incredibly based and also very, very smart. At least that's how they would define themselves. But in reality, most of them are f***ing morons. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every conspiracy theory is ridiculous. I mean, Kennedy definitely got whacked by the CIA. I think we can all agree on that one. But they start to lose me with schizo stuff like this.
Now, if we think about it, our moon could be fake and not an original sustainer of our Earth. I mean, Mercury and Venus don't have moons. So could the moon just be a high technological place where they do secret galactic things?
Now, the way I see it, there are 4 levels of schizos on the internet. Level 1 is your basic ground level conspiracy theorists. They believe in stuff like the moon landing is fake, Bush did 9/11, the female orgasm is real, stuff like that. Your level 2 schizos are your QAnon types. They are very, very distrustful of the government to an unhealthy level. Then you got your level 3s. Not only are they distrustful of the government, but also of reality itself. This is like your flat earth types or your hollow earth types or your cube earth? That's new. Now, a level 4 schizo is someone who is so enlightened, so open-minded that it almost seems like they're suffering from a mental disability. But the reality is they're just on a different mental wavelength than us sheep. In this video, we're going to be discussing conspiracy theories that I found on TikTok, and all of them are going to be in that level 3 and 4 range, so buckle up.
This is gonna sound crazy, but just hear me out. Outback Steakhouse is a part of some satanic cult. Here's a tea and evidence. So there are multiple Outback Steakhouse locations where if you connect all of them like connected dots, they make a pentagram. I'm talking Indiana, New York, Idaho, and so much more. What is going on?
That would explain the absolutely demonic shits I take every single time I eat there.
We have all been programmed to believe that there is no land at the North Pole. Just a bunch of ice sheets, nothing to see here. What if I told you that this is far from the truth? Not only is the North Pole home to the most exceedingly high mountain in the world, Mount Zion, the mountain of God, which is spoken about all throughout the Bible, it is also home to paradise, the Garden of Eden, which is still here to this day.
This one can very easily be proven if you just went to the North Pole, okay? It's not that hard. Just go to Alaska, get on a boat, and go north.
This is one of the first ever maps created of the North Pole in the 1500s. That mountain in the middle, it is called the Rupus Nigra. It's straight from Wikipedia. Rupus Nigra.
Okay, bro, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to say that.
Rupus Nigra is a black rock.
Okay, I am now convinced that the only reason he made this video was to have an excuse to say the N-word.
Not to mention Rupus Nigra.
Did you know? So apparently the English language is full of spells that we cast upon ourselves. Think about it. We awake in the morning. What is awake? Pretty sure that's a funeral. So we awake in the morning. Oh, like mourning the death of something? And then we go to work all week. You know, like week. So we work on the weekdays, like weekdays, in a state of stunned confusion. So you know we work all week until the weekend when we're, you know, weekend. And the reason we even go to work is to earn a living, you know, earn a living, like put our living in an urn. Sounds like we're getting the weekend of the deal. See, weekend. Let's not mention the fact that they literally call it spelling and we learn to write in cursive. Well, we used to. Let's break down the word child. Child, like chai as in chi, like a vital life force. Old, so like a vital life force getting old. How about parents? You know, pair who rents the child. Don't even get me started on what words used to mean and what they mean now. Like the word nice, in Latin, it literally means ignorant. There's so many double meanings to so many words. It's crazy. This rabbit hole is deep, y'all.
Did bro just discover words or something? What's going on here? You know, when I first saw this, I was like, there's no fucking way this guy's serious. He's either a nitrous oxide addict or he's trolling right now. But I started browsing some of his other videos and no, he is not trolling. This man is 100% serious. Like, his third eye is so open that it's giving him brain damage. And then I started looking at the comments thinking that everybody's going to be shitting on him, but no, this man has convinced a lot of people that the English language is black magic.
whenever it's a full moon, people become crazy. They have said this for centuries. It was only the scientists that caught up about 50 to 75 years ago that figured out the human body is 70% water, and the moon pulls on us too, just like it pulls on the tides. So people become crazy under full moons. That's why they call it lunatics.
This actually explains a lot, because once a month I wake up naked in a man's bed with no recollection of how I got there. So it's the full moon making me gay. All right? I'm not actually gay. It's just the moon messing with my brain chemistry.
You can't tell me giants and giant things didn't exist. Look at the grains on top of that tree stump. That's classed as a mountain. Oh, you know, nothing to see here. Just a giant person asleep on top of a mountain. Almost reminds me of, you know, Moana. And maybe just this elephant head on a mountain. Wow. Yeah, nothing to see here. It's only a human face on the side of a mountain. No, they're not toes. That's not a man between some giant toes. Surely not. No.
I feel like this is a symptom of what happens when you literally never go outside. Like, if this man just stepped out of his gamer dungeon for 5 minutes, he would immediately notice that some things just look like other things. I just realized that photo kind of looks like my room right now. Guess it's true what they say, people in stone houses shouldn't throw glass. But my point still stands, okay? If you go outside, you'll notice that things just resemble other things, okay? Take this rock formation, for example. Just because it looks like a giant schlong does not mean that it was a giant's schlong, okay? And if it was, good for him. But you know what? He is British, and they think that this is good food, so it's not that big of a surprise that he believes this stuff. But unfortunately, I did some digging, and you know, this is more of a widespread belief than I thought.
So tell me, do you believe, was Disney trying to tell us something? Some things are just an optical illusion, right? Well, is this an optical illusion? Look at that and tell me you don't know what that is. Go ahead and tell me that confidently and mean it, because you know darn well what that is. You can see it. No, that's not a carving. That's a petrified animal from the days of old. There's plenty of statues on this earth that are thousands of years old. Now, what if they were petrified beings?
Now, I know what you guys are thinking. These guys are insane. They're probably high on PCP, and they probably smell like ass. All of these things are true, but they might be onto something. This conspiracy goes a lot deeper than you'd think. In fact, one person might have been killed for trying to expose it. On April 9th, 2022, Andrew Dawson posted a video of what appeared to be a giant standing on top of a mountain in Canada.
It's a person, dude. No, seriously, pull over, pull over.
No.
There's a person standing there.
No, it's not.
Dude, if you've seen what I've seen right now.
The video went insanely viral, getting 17 million views. And I guess Andrew just couldn't resist the dopamine hit, so he decided to go back to the mountain multiple times to try to get a less shitty video of the creature. But he was starting to bring a lot of unwanted attention. Some people didn't want him recording anymore.
I just got stopped by like some CIA agent. He told me to turn around, said I'm trespassing. I said it's a public area, like a public park or whatever. Some local told me to take this path. I didn't get it on camera, but I'm gonna go again tomorrow and be prepared to be filming right now because he stopped the vehicle. His truck was blocking it. Said some like environmental issue was going on. I don't know. He told me to go back and said I was trespassing.
The CIA didn't want Andrew snooping around there anymore for some reason. Even though this was Canada, so why would the CIA even be? You know what? Don't think about it too hard. Andrew wasn't about to let the CIA get in the way of his quest for the truth. So he told that agent to go fuck himself, and he kept going back to the mountain.
The guy's here again. Yeah, this is him. What's going on?
Road's closed. Turn around.
Really?
Yeah, man. Just turn around, please.
Okay. Have a good night, man. So that was fucked up.
A few days after that incident, Andrew posted this video on April 16th.
think that's the same vehicle from... Hey!
And he went radio silent after this post. Everybody assumed that the CIA whacked him. 3 weeks later, on May 6th, he finally posted an update.
Sorry to disappoint you guys, but all the videos that I posted were scripted. They were just fake. They were just strictly for entertainment.
Now, this of course made people really suspicious. Bro was acting weird as hell, and it was almost like there was someone behind that camera holding a gun. After that, he disappeared again for 10 days, until he posted this video.
You might not see me post ever again. My videos weren't fake.
Clearly something was up, and Andrew was terrified that he was gonna get whacked. But that still wasn't enough to stop his quest for the truth, because the next day, he went back to the mountain.
What is that?
This was the last video Andrew Dawson would ever post. Now guys, there's a very real chance that our boy Andrew staged this whole thing. I'd say about a 97% chance. But I'm really holding out for that 3% that he was tortured and killed in a CIA black site. Because that would be cool.
Can we expose the real reason why dinosaurs are not here today? I'm not taking any chances. So they said white dinosaurs are extinct because an asteroid hit the Earth. Well, my theory is that they were killed by the aliens. So these asteroids just hit directly all over the planet, killing all of the dinosaurs. It gotta be something else for me. You're telling me these asteroids hit all of the dinosaurs and they're all just went extinct? Well, I say them asteroids were actually missiles.
You put me in an empty room with nothing but a bucket of meth. For 10 years, I could not come up with something this stupid.
Marvel movie. They were supposed to upgrade humanity's consciousness to a very high vibration and destroy the planet. Same thing in Prometheus. Now, there has been talk about dinosaurs being on the center of the Earth also. You know, Hollow Earth theory, where China found an underground forest. If you've ever watched the movie Journey to the Center of the Earth, they went there and they saw dinosaurs. They already showed us in the movie Jurassic World how it is living with dinosaurs. We wouldn't be able to survive, so they had to get off the planet.
One thing that these conspiracy theorists do all the time that I think is hilarious is they will cite a fictional movie as if it's a real historical event.
So did this Anunnaki group, or aliens, whatever you want to call them, missiled off the dinosaurs for the evolvement of humans? It's just kind of hard to believe that the destruction of dinosaurs came from asteroids.
She says it's hard to believe that the destruction of the dinosaurs came from an asteroid. It's hard to believe, she says, but aliens shooting them with missiles, that makes perfect sense.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the
Okay, well, that was creepy as hell. You know, after watching that, it's easy to see why people are so distrustful of the media. I mean, no wonder there's so many conspiracy theorists these days. It's almost impossible to get the full, unbiased story in the news. Or at least, that's what I thought until I found out about the sponsor of today's video, Ground News. Ground News makes it easy to compare articles from different media outlets and to see multiple perspectives on the same topic. I mean, we are literally having congressional hearings about UFOs and aliens and shit. So let me show you what it's like to read a story like that on Ground News. Up top, there's a quick summary of the issue, and I can see that there's over 100 sources reporting on it, so it's probably pretty legit. If I scroll down, I can compare headlines and read full articles from different sources. Further down, I get the full bias distribution for the story, which is pretty even. Turns out everybody cares about alien invasions. It's like the one thing that brings our country together. But they do have a blind spot feed that shows you which breaking news stories have the most bias. These are stories that only one side of the political spectrum is covering. Stories you might miss if you're stuck in a bubble. I gotta say, Ground News is pretty based, and I think they're more important now than ever when everybody's so divided. So check them out at ground.news/Dantavius and get a free trial using my link. Thank you, Ground News, for sponsoring this video.
Have you ever thought about why an iPhone has its name? When Apple says I, it literally means I. iPhones are watching us, listening to us, and seeing everything we're doing. And some people have this link to the Illuminati. Don't believe me? What's Siri spelled backwards?
Okay, bro, what the fuck you want me to do? Use an Android? Not gonna happen. You guys remember the Roman Empire? You know, it was pretty famous. They even had a TV show based on it. Well, one woman on TikTok claims that the Roman Empire never existed.
It always blows my mind talking to people who have invested their lives in the study of ancient Rome, because y'all don't seem to realize it didn't exist. It is a figment of the Spanish Inquisition's imagination.
Now, my first thought upon hearing this was like, of course Rome exists. The city of Rome is still there to this day. How do you explain that?
The city of Rome was created by the Vatican after the Great Western Schism. It was cow fields until the 1500s.
Okay, well, what about the Colosseum or Trajan's Column? I'm sure they carbon dated that shit and it's way older than 500 years.
What about places like the Colosseum or Trajan's Column or Roman inscriptions written on things? You cannot radiocarbon date stone. Trajan's Column matches another column from Greece, indicating that it was dragged there. The thing on top of it is a statue of the Pope, added much later.
Okay, but didn't the ancient Chinese mention the Roman Empire? There's proof right there.
What about ancient Chinese mentions of the Great Roman Empire? Those don't exist.
God damn, bro, she has an answer for everything. Now, I'm no historian. Well, actually, I am a historian because I have a history degree from DeVry. So as a historian, I say this woman is full of shit, in my professional opinion.
Antarctica is sketchy.
Yeah, every single country has signed a treaty that you can't do anything in Antarctica. No one can go to certain areas in Antarctica, and no one can own Antarctica. Hitler at one point went to Antarctica with like 40-something virgin women. Isn't that bizarre? He has a documented voyage to Antarctica with like 40 virgin women.
I swear you can say whatever the hell you want as long as you pretend to be on a podcast and put creepy music in the background, people will believe you.
There's this theory that Russian scientists found a hyper-intelligent sea monster in Antarctica called Organism 46b. In Antarctica, there's layers to the ice, so it goes very, very deep. These Russian scientists drilled for 30 years through the ice, and then they finally breached into a lake. 3 of these scientists, they go down to explore the lake, and they're attacked and killed by a massive octopus-like creature. The next day, the remaining scientists had gone out again to look for this creature, and they had managed to get it into a cage and trap the creature, and when they had come back up from the bottom of the ice, they just told the media that they saw nothing, but the story is that this thing is now back in Russia and they're using it in the military.
Now, another common thing I've noticed on TikTok is that if 2 people look slightly similar, that can't just be a coincidence. There has to be something more going on.
Is the answer to one of the most brutal, unsolved murders of all time Katy Perry? Is she actually murdered child pageant star JonBenet Ramsey? JonBenet, who happens to look a lot like Katy Perry, was never murdered, and it was all a lie. JonBenet's parents faked her death and the ransom note because they wanted to get her away from the child pageant scene because she already had a few known creepy men fixating on her, P-words, and people trying to take advantage of her, and wanted to use her talent and star quality when she was older. Even their parents look eerily similar if they just got older and aged a bit. How does this photo look like both of them at the same time?
That's not even the only Katy Perry clone theory.
That's Zoe Deschanel. That's Katy Perry. They do look too similar to me, and maybe that's just my conspiracy mind. I'm calling it clones.
Oh, come on, not this guy again. This guy's like my son. The more I try to get away from him, the more he shows up. I'm just gonna play another video on the same topic because I'm tired of seeing the schlemiel.
So automatically they look so similar. People thought they were sisters. Is it because one of them is a clone? Well, I was just wondering, what about their mom, you know? So I decided to look into both of their mothers. When you look at pictures of their mothers pregnant with them, you'll find none.
You know, I've seen this point brought up a lot in conspiracy circles. I think it's a really dumb point, okay? Like, there are no pictures of my mom pregnant with me either. That doesn't mean I'm a clone, right? I'm not a clone. There's no way I'm a clone. Who the hell are you?
Me? I'm your clone. You've been exposing too many secrets, Danny, so the higher-ups sent me to whack you and take your place.
That's ridiculous. You're not gonna kill... Sorry about that, guys. Now, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, clones.
What do all of these celebrities have in common? Well, people everywhere believe that these are all clones, so let's talk about it. It starts with viral clips of these so-called malfunctions, such as Katy Perry's eye twitching or Eminem being non-responsive while being interviewed. And there's countless videos of many other celebrities having similar experiences all over the internet, leading many to believe that they were indeed cloned. With the most recent example being not of an exact malfunction, but rather of Kanye West now being taller than ever before.
Those are just a few of the many, many, many celebrities who have supposedly been cloned. I'm gonna talk about a few of the more famous cases, and stick around because this whole cloning rabbit hole goes very deep. We're gonna get to like the bottom layer of the schizo iceberg on this one. Let's start with Kanye West. On October 8th, 2022, Kanye, or Ye as he's known now, tweeted, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight. When I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people." The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew. A month later, Ye officially began his campaign for President of the United States. He quickly got together a team of the best gay neo-Nazis in the country and started doing a bunch of interviews where he was saying some interesting things.
What schools are doing is exactly what the CIA does with Pixar films and Disney films. They make Bambi's mom die in the beginning, right? And off that pain comes a purchase of ice cream.
With each interview, Ye kept getting more and more unhinged, and this reached a climax when he went on Alex Jones's show.
That's right, you're not Hitler, you're not a Nazi, you don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also.
It seemed like this was gonna go on for a while, but this would actually be the last interview Ye ever did up to this point. You see, one night Ye was sitting on his couch flipping through the channels when he came across the movie 21 Jump Street, and at some point during the film, Ye realized he liked Jewish people again.
Watching Jonah Hill in 21 Jump Street made me like Jewish people again. No one should take anger against one or two individuals and transform that into hatred towards millions of innocent people. No Christian can be labeled anti-Semite knowing Jesus is Jew. Thank you, Jonah Hill, I love you.
A lot of people thought this sudden change of heart was suspicious. And to make matters even weirder, after this post, Ye went missing. No interviews, no social media, no paparazzi, nothing. This was getting scary. Ye said himself just a few weeks before his disappearance.
If I ever went anywhere, we'd know why. You understand what I'm saying? So.
Rumors were swirling that Kanye was assassinated. But then all of a sudden, he was spotted out in public with some mystery woman. But this wasn't enough to convince everyone that Ye was actually alive.
Has Kanye West been cloned? People have taken to social media with height comparisons of Kanye and various celebrities before and after the supposed cloning took place. West's height is 5'8", and here he is with his former wife, Kim Kardashian, who is 5'2". West's new wife, Bianca Censori, is purportedly only 1 inch shorter than him at 5'7", but there are multiple photographs showing Censori who looks much shorter than West wearing heels, even while he's more or less barefoot.
Bro really married the first Kim Kardashian lookalike he could get his hands on. But what if she's not just a lookalike? What if she's also a clone?
Kanye's new wife is a clone of a clone. Kim Kardashian didn't survive the 2009 robbery, and she was cloned. Bianca Censori. Kanye's new wife is just a clone of Kim Kardashian. You heard right. She is just a clone of Kim Kardashian, but not just a clone of Kim. They Rick Morty this crap. They made her a clone of a clone.
Now guys, this goes a lot deeper, okay? We're just at the tip of the iceberg right now, so stick around. These theories about celebrities getting replaced with clones actually goes back way further than you'd think. Back to 1969, when everybody thought Paul McCartney died and was replaced with a lookalike.
There was even one report that McCartney was killed 3 years ago in an auto accident and a double put in his place.
Just because he wasn't wearing any shoes on this album cover. No, I'm not joking, but hey, it was the 60s. Everybody was high on LSD, so what can you do? Fast forward to 2011. You guys remember Avril Lavigne? I don't, because most of my long-term memory was wiped out after I overdosed on nitrous oxide in 2019. But apparently she was a very popular singer in the early 2000s. Her debut album, Let Go, sold 16 million copies and was nominated for 2 Grammys. But unfortunately, she passed away shortly after the album's release. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, Danny, you schmuck. Avril Lavigne released several albums after that one. Well, That's where you're wrong, because most of those albums weren't made by Avril. They were made by Avril's body double, Melissa. You see, after the surprise success of her debut album, Avril was having a hard time adjusting to fame, and eventually it got to be too much and she hanged herself. Her parents were devastated by the loss of their daughter, and her record company was devastated by the loss of millions of dollars. So the record company execs convinced Avril's parents to keep her death on the down low, at least until her next album came out, since it was already fully recorded at that point. So they came up with the brilliant idea to replace Avril with a body double.
The real Avril Lavigne died in September 2003 by unaliving herself. Because she was depressed, anxious, she couldn't handle being the most famous person in the world at her age, and her grandfather just died, who was her everything. But after she died, her label wanted to capitalize off of the massive career she was building, so they replaced her with an actress who looks just like her, Melissa Vandella. She was dressing different, her nose looks very different. The inner corner of her eye used to have a round slope, and now it doesn't. The moles and freckles in her arms are now in different positions. Her height on Google changed suddenly. Her handwriting was different. This eerie photo of Avril posing with the word Melissa on her hand as if she's sending a message. The way Avril sounds and sings were completely different.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
The reason I bring this up is because the Avril Lavigne thing sparked a whole new genre of conspiracy theories that basically every celebrity on the planet that you can think of has been cloned at one point or another. Will Smith, Britney Spears, Eminem, even Kevin Hart, bro. They got Kevin Hart.
Yo, how do you do it? I have a clone. I was gonna say that. There's two of you. Cat's out the bag. Okay? It's about a good 3 of me.
Oh, and it's not just celebrities that are being cloned, okay? It's also world leaders like Kim Jong-un and even Joe Biden. But guys, it gets even more insane than that. There's this guy by the name of Donald Marshall. He claims that the secret shadow government that runs the world has been running underground cloning facilities since the 50s, where they have clones of pretty much every famous person you can think of.
Queen Elizabeth is there. Stephen Harper, Canadian Prime Minister. Obama is there. Vladimir Putin is there. The Pope is even there. All kinds of heads of different factions of different things. The head of the Mexican drug cartel is there. Mafia in Italy is there. Man, everybody is there.
But who is this schmuck? And how does he have so much information about this if it's such a big secret? Well, apparently Donald was cloned himself. At the age of 5, he was kidnapped and a clone of him was made against his will. But he didn't remember any of that until he was 30 years old, because I guess he had repressed memories or something.
I was memory repressed about the cloning stuff until I was 30 years old. They call it the awakening when they give you back the memories.
And I know this sounds like the plot of a bad sci-fi movie, but bear with me. In 2011, after gaining his memory back, Donald wrote a book titled Exposing the Illuminati's REM-Driven Human Cloning Subculture. Kind of a long-winded title, gotta be honest. I would have picked something more catchy, but whatever. So what the hell is an REM-driven clone?
REM-driven clone. Okay, now what that means is when you go to sleep, the Illuminati, this is their main form of communication too. They don't call people on the phone. They don't meet at the Bohemian Grove anymore. Since they got cloning, they meet at the cloning station when they go to sleep. Each of them, I don't know how they do it exactly, okay, or else I'd know how to block it. But they can transfer your consciousness into a clone at the cloning station if they have a clone of you.
Yeah, so from what I gather, it's kind of like that Black Mirror episode with Aaron Paul. As soon as the person falls asleep, their clone wakes up and they can control it while their actual body is sleeping. Another thing he said is that any damage done to your clone is felt by the real person. So if somebody punched your clone in the balls, you would just randomly feel it as you were going about your business. Kind of like a voodoo doll. And apparently, this can also be used to whack people. They can give people aneurysms and kill them while making it look like natural causes.
If they apply a constant electronic current to your clone, you will have an aneurysm. If you're younger, it'll take a little bit longer with the electric current, but...
So how is this guy still alive after exposing all these dark secrets? Well, apparently, he's such a good songwriter that they can't afford to get rid of him. He says he's written pretty much every hit song of the 21st century.
To keep them off, and I started singing like original songs there, just right out of the blue. It turns out the first one, people liked it, and they had a famous person use it, and then they came back for more, and I made more. And other people came back wanting to hear more. Then they started bringing me there every single night, and all these people wanted to meet me after I made a certain amount of songs. thought that I had some kind of like super talents. So then all the richest people around, music producers and stuff, all went there wanting songs from me too.
Now this is where it all comes full circle, because our boy Donald, he basically invented Kanye. Kanye West has performed many songs I have made as a REM-driven clone version of myself from the cloning center, through the process of consciousness transfer from my original body to my duplicate REM-driven clone. Kanye West still attends the cloning center as a REM-driven clone version of himself. Fuck, man, this whole time I thought Kanye was a musical genius, but it turns out he's just a talentless hack and got all his songs written by the true genius that is Donald Marshall. So keep that in mind next time you're bumping Graduation. I'm not really sure what this one is implying. Honestly, I've been watching this video on a loop for the past 3 hours and I still don't get it. But you know, I was scrolling through this man's profile and he is an absolute goldmine. Now, this mother sucker is alleging that all US presidents are related, and someone in the comments asked if he had any proof to back up his claim, and I shit you not, this schmuck replied with, "This needs no proof." I fucking love this guy, man. He's like the perfect representation of the failure of the US educational system. I could do an entire video on this guy, but sadly we gotta move on.